All right, being 7 o'clock on May 19th, 2021, I'd like to open the planning board meeting for tonight. 7 o'clock, we have air for Christopher Wyzik on Oxford Road.
Yeah, this is a A&R plan where they're proposing to make 5 lots out of 1 lot. 1 lot actually already exists. It just moving the lot line, but then there'll be 4 additional lots plus that 1 lot this being included. They're all conforming lots. They've been reviewed by Kurt Meskis, zoning official, so it's a pretty straightforward subdivision. I had included, I believe, in that if you received the whole package for the May 19th meeting, the SharePoint, there is a plan in there for that A&R.
Don, are you able to share your screen and bring that up if possible? Or?
Things move a little slow. I've got it coming up, but I'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah.
SharePoint's a bit slow today.
Yeah.
I
think it's Randy's bad.
I got that message again. I'm like, oh, please don't go down now.
So Kurt reviewed this, Randy, and was fine with it. I take it there's 60,000 square foot lots, 175 feet of frontage.
Right.
Okay.
They don't have at least 2/3 of upland, so they don't have any wetlands issues as far as that goes.
All right.
Billy, you still have a lot of wood to burn.
Yeah, no, it's getting warmer. Heavens.
You prepared for next year.
Right. Can't be too prepared.
All right.
Like I said, things are going a little bit slow today, but it's coming up.
Yep.
That's right. Yep. Just starting to make its way.
Yeah, the one larger lot in the middle is 122.1. For some prior, they had this 10-foot wide strip at the rear of the property. They're now just moving that property line, and it connected the 122A and the 122B together. So they're just pushing that lot line back so that all the rear lot lines will be even. And so it's going to be created a total of 5 lots, 122-1 and then 122-A through D. Those are the 5 lots to be created.
All right, does anyone have any comments or questions on the A&R?
The only thing, the board, the only thing that I noticed, I think surveyor, Mr. Dubois, reference to all, is this the one where it says all sites were at least 40,000? Let's zoom in here. Yeah, his comment number 6.
Oh, well, it's 40,000 square feet of contiguous upland, which is what they need for a 60,000 square foot lot when they're doing an A&R. So 2/3 of the lot is upland, which is what's required with an A&R. He's not referring to the whole lot. It's only the portion of the lot that's in upland.
Right. And they're more than that. They're all just
pretty high
on that comment. Yeah.
All right.
My only thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right, anything else? Any other questions? All right, so we have a motion to approve the A&R.
make a motion to approve this A&R as submitted.
Second that, Don Clay.
All right, all those in favor, Gene Vincent.
Aye.
Guy,
Aye.
John Smith,
Aye.
Bill Fontaine. Say aye. It is approved. All right, next up, we have introduction of the new CMRPC consultant for the zoning bylaw diagnostic group. And we got Gabe Trevor as well as Ron Barron with us.
Yes,
Yes,
oh, go ahead, Ron.
sure, thank you. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to thank you for giving us some time here. Just wanted to take a few minutes to let you guys know that I am CMRPC effective this week. I'm moving on to a position for the City of Washington, D.C. that will be a little bit closer to home, though I get to go into the office, so it matters. So I want to take the chance to introduce you to my colleague, Gabe, who has been working with me on this project basically right along. So he's familiar with what we're doing, but he's going to be taking over as the face of for you guys. So Gabe, if you would like to introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Gabe Trevor. I've been working at CMRPC for a year now. I started in February of 2020, so right after I started, went fully remote, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, like Ron said, I've been on a few different zoning projects for different towns. I've been working behind the scenes on this project, and I'm excited to sort of get into the weeds on it. Yeah. Not much more to say. I guess, current the use table, I got edits from Randy, and I'm going to be incorporating those with some of Ron's ideas on the use table, and then hopefully, bring that to you guys shortly. And then happy to move on to other parts of the zoning document as you guys see necessary. But yeah, I can be reached. It's just trevor@cmrpc.org. If you have any questions, and yeah, I think I'm hoping once I put together, a set of edits for the use table, I'm hoping to have a call with Randy or meet with the board, at your convenience. So happy to be on.
All right. I want to thank you for all the time and effort that you put forward on this project for the town here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, good luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's
Thank
very,
you,
very
Ron.
different. I've already, they sent me a packet of stuff to look at, and it's going to be a complete ball game.
Gotcha. And then
But thank you guys. Have a great.
thank you, Ron and Gabe.
Thanks, Ron.
Meet you, Gabe.
Yeah. Gabe, looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
Good night.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, next up at our cell, we have JO Development LLC, formerly Rockaway Realty Trust, field change Washington to Rockaway Trust Drive, definitive subdivision plan, which is on City Depot Road. And we were going to hear that from the fire department on a field change, right, Randy?
Yes, and I can't explain why it's been taking them so long. This is very straightforward. What they want to do is to not install a cistern for the whole development, but rather put individual sprinkler systems in the building. And Mike Andres, we've just been waiting from confirmation from the fire department that we would receive that. And we haven't received an official letter from the fire department, although verbally they said, yeah, there's no big deal with it, but we've been trying to get something on paper from them so that we could provide it to Mike Andres so he would feel comfortable with the field change. He has no problem with it. Nobody does, but we just like to have something in writing to make sure that everybody's on the same page with it.
Now, question, is it holding up the developer at all from proceeding on his project?
Yes and no. He's trying to, work into getting the building permits, but or have to do the site work if he's going to do that. You know, I was comfortable. I thought that he would be able to proceed forward, but yes, I will say that the developer is not happy because he's been waiting weeks for this letter and now is unable to get it. I mean, as recent as today, he's been asking for it.
So, I don't know. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I think it's straight if I was a developer being held up for something like this, because it clearly it has Kurt mentioned that if it complies with the building code with fire sprinkler.
Yeah, the whatever sprinkler system they put in has to meet building code. So
yeah,
me, I don't know why that's a issue at this point. You know, he'll have to address that at the time of building permits. If he doesn't, then he would have to put in the cistern. It's that simple. So, I mean, honestly, I think in fairness to the developer, because he's been waiting so long, if the board wanted to do it on the condition that the fire department produces a letter and Mike Andrea agrees to that field change, that this field change could be approved. You know, it's very straightforward. I just don't understand why it's been taking so long.
right. I just want to get the opinions of the board as far as I can feel the developer's frustration being held up by something so minuscule to just waiting for a letter. Is a little, in my opinion, is unacceptable for taken. If the board wants to put the field change under condition when he applies for his building permit, the buildings on that development, that he includes a sprinkler system within the buildings in lieu of the cistern.
Yeah, and that's the only way the fire department's going to agree to it anyways, you know.
Yeah.
Has the second access been for us?
Second access.
No,
I
this
thought this was one way in, one way out.
is
Yeah,
Rockaway on City Depot.
You
Yeah,
might
it's a
filled.
yeah, John. It's on City Depot. Just a development condo / combination single family houses, I believe, but it's one way in, one way out.
Basically a private lane into a multifamily development, variety of duplexes, I don't know, and one single family.
Yeah.
Hey,
So does anyone have a problem if it with this field change without the letter from the fire department? Right.
You know, approving it pending approval. You know, it got to be code if they're putting the sprinkler system in.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bill, go right ahead.
the board. You know, unless we're missing something, fire, you know, has a whole different scenario that require more work. I just don't see that happening. But Don said, just make it conditional upon their approval.
Yeah. You explain it a little bit better, and I don't understand the procedure, but the Dennis Carlson, the fire official, actually handed to Kurt Meskis, the building official, because he's also a member of the fire department, who actually write the letter, and that's where the hang-up has been. Mr. Meskis hasn't provided us with the letter yet. And I mean, I got an email recently from today that he was going to provide it today, but here we are, and I still don't have it. So I mean, they're going to have to do it to get building permits on the building. So
Yeah.
I mean, if we can accelerate this for them, you know, I'd say, yeah, let's accept you know, let's get going on their application.
Well, that's why
move
I
it
think
along,
that,
you know, rather
then
than,
you put the onus on the fire department to hurry up and get it done. Then he won't be waiting for, yet another planning board meeting to get in.
right, then they're in the cycle again for another
Right.
meeting, yeah.
Are the clock now or not? The site review.
I'm sorry?
Are they on the clock yet for site review?
John, they already started to do some site work. They already started to cut the road in.
Yeah, they're
Some
actually
basins
working
and
on the
stuff.
road right now, getting ready for the binder coat.
Yeah.
All right.
Because, John, what they want to do, besides doing the cistern, they want to buildings they're going to build condos or the single residential house in the little development.
So does he have a concern that there's not enough water?
This is on the fire department, I guess. I think maybe
Yeah.
the developer and said, listen, it might be cheaper for me rather than paying $30,000 for a cistern to just do whatever. Maybe he has some other cheaper way to do it with a sprinkler system in the residential house.
Yeah, he's not going with public water. Each unit will have its own tank. There's a requirement for minimum size tank, to run the sprinkler system. So it's not on public water. And that is perfectly legal as long as it meets the building code, whatever system he uses. It has to meet the minimum requirements for the building code.
Well, like you said, it's just that will be addressed at a different point in time, but not now.
Right. When he applies for permits, he'll have to show that.
How do we just condition it as to Don, or should we?
Yeah.
What's the motion we should make on this to get him moving forward? And
Condition is that when he submits his building permit, he shows that the permit that he applies for, if they're going to install fire suppression systems rather than doing a cistern.
so installed fire suppression units in
Yep.
building in lieu of cistern.
Correct.
And if he doesn't, the fire department will require the cistern, so he'll be back right where he was.
Yeah. So, Gene, comment or anything on this item?
What's showing right now for the preliminary subdivision? Is he showing a cistern or is he showing fire suppression?
I believe it's a cistern. That's why he's asking for requesting the field change to limit cistern individual fire suppressions in each residential unit.
Yeah, just to be clear, this isn't the Curtis Hill project. This is
No.
Depot Road.
Project on City Depot Road.
Who's Ron here? Right.
Matthew's old project.
Okay.
A series of what, 8 duplexes or 6 duplexes and 2 single.
Yeah, I think it might be total of 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think 6 duplexes and 2 single.
Yeah.
This was approved over a year ago, right?
Yes.
Two.
All right, I just thought I saw the Curtis Hill. I was like,
Yeah, threw you off. Understandable. All right, do we have a motion on this, or you want to table it again?
I'll make a motion that the change pending approval from the fire with that criteria, the stipulation.
I'll second that, Jean Vincent.
All right, all those in Gene Vincent,
Aye.
Don Clay,
Aye.
John Smith,
aye.
Fontaine,
Aye.
Ross Nancy, aye. I'm reaching out to the developer tomorrow just to make him aware of that.
Will do.
All right, next up, we have accept the Blair Builders Curtis Hill subdivision plan.
Yeah, the applicant had submitted revised plans. That Mike Andre had responded to those revised plans and other comments. And I think you have a copy of Mike's review letter dated March 7th, 2021. That was the second peer review that he had submitted. So he had some, he had still a few comments on the application. Some of it's addressed during the definitive plan process. Some you might want to talk about now. And then there was also a comment, Don had it up actually earlier, about the email from Dennis Carlson, March 1st, 2021. He had 3 comments in reference to this application. One was access from Curtis Hill Road, and we asked for a second way in and out of the development. I'm not sure if they realize this actually does have 2 ways in and out of the development. There is one access through Curtis Hill Road that is meant to be only for emergency services, but the main entrance itself from New Spencer Road is going to be a boulevard entrance. So there are 2 accesses to the property. Of course, that will be addressed again at the time of definitive subdivision. And then if there's also a question about if there's no town water, that he's requesting a 20,000 gallon cistern be installed, which I guess the applicant can talk in reference to that, what their plan is. And then also naming of streets, because that's always an issue that we all not only we'll need to discuss that with the applicant, but whatever it is, that we run it through both the fire and the police department so we don't have any confusion with any existing roads in town. They are very leery of road names that are similar to ones that we already have.
Mr. Chairman, Cleve Blair from Blair Builders. May I speak?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right, so where's the Curtis Hill Road? I'm sorry?
Go right ahead, you're up.
Okay.
The board vote to accept the application so we can, start the clock running for reviewing this application.
Oh, I thought that we accepted it already, or no?
No, we hadn't done it, so we should just make a motion second to accept the application. So then we can move forward.
Okay, so might we just take care of this real quick? All right. Do we have a motion to accept preliminary subdivision plan?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We accept the Curtis Hills preliminary plan submittal.
Second that, Bill Fontaine.
All right, all those in favor, Vincent?
Aye.
John Clay?
Aye.
John Smith?
Aye.
Bill Fontaine?
Aye.
Ross Massey, aye. Go right ahead, Clay, with any information you want to provide or.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just trying to, when we first started to talk about this project, Gordon planner at the time, and he suggested a meeting with the people who lived in the neighborhood. So we had a meeting with people who lived in the neighborhood, and it came out that they didn't want traffic from a big subdivision like that up Curtis Hill Road. What Alan asked us to do was to create a double barrel access off of Old Spencer Road and put a gate at the end of Curtis Hill Road, and then the police department would have a key so that they could come in that way if a second ever needed. It would be always, be maintained right up to the edge there, and it would be able to get in. So that's why we designed it this way. In fact, the letter, I think I submitted it, or I may have submitted a copy of it, saying that that's you know, that's what we plan on doing. We would do that based upon that meeting people who were in the area at the time. So, I mean, that's why there's two accesses. It's very simple to make Curtis Hill Road the second access. And we can certainly do that in the definitive if that's what the board wishes. So, preference of the board and the town planner and the people in the neighborhood to do it the way we did it. That's why it's designed that way.
Well, no, I think you did it correctly. I don't think the fire department picked up that you already had the second access for emergency vehicles on Curtis Hill Road. So I think you've actually addressed their concerns. They just didn't pick up on that.
Oh, good. Good. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to ask about was, and he had mentioned the lot count, that the way that we figure the lot count, something that when we designed this or when we put this field in there, I had discussed that with Alan again at the time. This is a ways back, and he told me that if it was accessible, you could use it to design lots into it. So we designed lots into open space 1, which on the other railroad tracks, I mean, to make a street go across a railroad track, I don't think is a big deal. But Mike was pointing out that he just wanted to point that out. So part of town includes that area on that other side of the track. We were told we could do that when we designed the solar farm in the sub. So I'm just saying that's why we do it. The bylaw says if it's accessible, you can use it. I mean, I guess that's, you can look at that anyway, but that's why we designed it the way we did, and that's how our lot over there.
I think the question is at this point is, who's giving you permission to cross the railroad tracks?
Well, it's not going to even be necessary. It's just what it does is, Randy, if I could answer it, it allows us to just show that we can design lots over there and have it so they could be used for lot count. We're not going to, open space would be turned over to a conservation foundation or something to that effect anyway. But I just wanted to make sure we included it in lot count because it adds up to what, 7 or 8 lots over there. It's a lot.
But how would anyone, no matter if it was the open space was turned over to a town, the private organization, how would they access that property over the railroad track?
Now,
no permission.
No, you can get a what is it, a waiver or an easement from the tracks. Can't stop you from going across them. If you want to design a road over there, there's roads that goes over all kinds of railroad tracks. You'd have to put a crossing in, but I mean, it could be done.
Well, that I agree with. That's where the issue was. If crossing was needed to be put in, whether it was for pedestrian or vehicle. Would you be paying for that? Because I don't think the town would want the responsibility to pay for that, nor private.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. The question, more than anything, is, first of all, if we go with the flexible development, which we plan on doing, it would never be necessary to build a road there or crossing there or anything. The point is, can it be used for lot count? And
but it also has to have public access. And if you don't have an easement across those railroad tracks.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. You can get in there. You can walk over there. There's a tunnel underneath.
Oh, there's a tunnel underneath?
Yeah. You can go, no problem. Yeah. It's accessible.
That I wasn't aware of. Okay. That's what I learned. Is there a connection because you get to cross the track? There is a connection there on the lot. Okay.
Absolutely. Those were the things that I really had more than anything, and that I really wanted to talk more than anything. I guess that was it.
Just because the fire department brought up, what was your plan as far as water? Are you planning to try to access public water or private water wells?
I'll tell you, the luck with wells in the town of Charlton, I would love to have town water. Put arsenic filters in, radon filters in. You can't imagine the stuff that I don't think town water is is close enough there to make it reasonable. I know that sewer is, and I spoke to the sewer commission, and at the time they were okay with, you know, me touring. I don't know if water is close enough. I'd more than love to bring it in.
So that'll be, you'll have to go to the Water and Sewage Commission and see what if they're willing to let you connect, or if it's feasible for you. That will be done at the time of the definitive subdivision, I know, but just
but if not,
they brought up the issue of the
we've built a few. I'm sorry, I keep talking over you. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Go ahead.
Okay, we built a few subdivisions in town, and in fact, we built one right across the street here called Lamb's Pond Circle. You can see it on here. That has a cistern. We just built one on Dresser Hill. That one has a cistern. The cost of a cistern isn't all that much, you know. It's $1 a gallon, really, how it works. So it's not a problem.
So
if I don't have town, I prefer town water, but for a cistern.
Okay.
All right, is there anything else from the board? Randy, pretty much just, the whole agenda item was just to accept it, right? And then, right, Randy?
Right, well, I mean, the commission, if they have any more questions or anything, or in regards to the application.
Yeah, through the chair.
Go right ahead.
So I just want to make this perfectly clear on what they're out here. So this is the traditional subdivision plan showing 70 lots with the road continuing out on Curtis Hill and here. The plan that you plan to build, your intentions are to build, Clay?
This plan right here that's up on the screen right now is a flexible development like the build. The other plan is just to determine lot count. That's all.
Gotcha. So the flexible plan will get you a few lots than what you would ordinarily. And I don't see a connection here to Curtis Hill, though. I see some buildings. He's going to be.
No, it goes right through the middle of them.
It goes right through the middle?
It goes right through the middle of them, right to that road.
Okay.
That's just where Curtis Hill Road actually ends now.
Oh, gotcha. And that would be continued even with this plan?
It would be continued right through, you know, just a dirt road, because they don't want to, you know, and it would have, I could pave it as well, but it would be right up to that road, so they would have a second access, yes.
Okay, but that's not shown on this plan.
It's not shown, no. But there is an easement there to do that, and we would do that.
But that would just be a secondary access, correct?
An emergency for emergency vehicles only.
The primary one would be off Spencer Road.
Yes, it would be a double barrel off New Spencer Road. Yep.
Okay. And then the open space. Whoops, lost a sheet there.
Sorry.
On the slide here on the sheet where it says open space, 14 point something acres. That's
yes.
Where you have the others.
Yes.
And that crosses the railroad.
It does. However, you can go under them to access the on this plan. On the other plan, to show lot count, we show it going over the railroad track.
Okay, what's already there is underneath the tracks?
It's like, I guess the farmer that used to own it, his cows used to walk it underneath the walkway. And they would go over the left.
Oh, so it's not a vehicle?
No.
Or
it's just a walking access. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Go right ahead, John.
So your open space is open space in one set of plans, and I think goes to your requirement for that, but you're not treating open space as open. You're treating the open space as lots on the other one to increase your lot size, your lot capacity plan to build on. So
we have to prove out a lot count that could be built, which we do here. And then,
Okay,
and what your bylaw allows for a 10% access lots over what you get. Am I correct on that, Randy? I'm pretty sure that's that.
In that you provide 25% open space, which you're actually providing 29 point something percent. So you're meeting the open space.
Yeah. So that's why. It's just the other plan is just to determine lot count. We hope to never.
well, you wouldn't be able to if you're treating that 14% as space.
Well, no, we wouldn't in this plan. We couldn't treat it as open, but in the flexible plan, we can, because we have allowed for 29, which the requirement is 25% open space. We allowed for 29%, and then you get an excess of 10. You know, they let you have 10% lots according to the bylaw than what you would get on a regular. So in order to give you an incentive to do a flexible development.
Yeah. For clarification, John, if it was a standard subdivision, they wouldn't be required to provide any open space. This given the flexible subdivision gives them an incentive to provide it.
So which way is this going to go? I mean, proving this where he can go either way, or doesn't it have to be one way or another that were the plans?
No. Part of the subdivision application process is he has to provide a plan of what a standard subdivision would look like. Is part of the process. It's a requirement. And then he also provides the plan for the flexible subdivision. So the application is actually for a flexible subdivision.
So the definitive plan would not show that road.
Oh, no.
Right.
No. The only purpose of the plan that was to this one is just to determine lot count. That's it. Period. Because they give you a reduced front-reduced area on the flexible. So in order to create open space in town, that's, you know, I think that goes back to the CMRCP, you know, put that, and it came out like 25. You have to show that on a standard, with your standard zoning, that you could only get so many lots on that property. And then you show the flexible with the open space so that, you know, you have for walkways. And in Charlton, they ask you to turn it over to a conservation or something to that effect, who owns the open space.
To the chair.
Go right ahead, John.
So if just moving past that, Clea, what would be the town's liability of owning or accepting a project that will verse onto, I don't know what railroad is to get to an open space? Would we have any liability there, or would be insurance required? I mean, the railroads are tricky guys. They have rights above all, so.
It's an easement that's been there for probably since the railroad's inception. Since they put it there, there's been that walkway for the cows to get through there they get away from you, and it doesn't require insurance. I don't have to insure it now.
I would think we would need to claim that. I mean, I think you should, Clea, just in case there's some caveat that if people, that I've dealt with railroads all my construction life, and it's not a good thing when you don't know the whole story.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. It's never been an issue. We've been traversing back and forth there for the last 10 years or so it hasn't been a problem, but I'll definitely look into it. Definitely.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions or comments from the board?
Question, Ross, if I
Go right ahead, Gene. Yeah.
The 70 lots that you're does include that open space or not?
It does to determine lot count, yes.
Determine lot count, okay.
Yes, lot count, but the subdivision that we would like to build is the flexible. The planning board would be willing to give us a special permit to do that. This one.
Okay.
Can I ask one more question? When I was reviewing this previously, we were having a conversation here with staff about it. But you currently have the solar farm there, and I believe the power from that solar farm is running out to Spencer Road.
Yeah.
So you'll have to put easements for whatever property that's crossing for the lots. Is that your intent?
What we did with the power company the power company wouldn't let the developer of the solar farm put the underground stuff in based upon these roads. Is when we build the roads, we put the power in, we take those power and they hook us up to that power. So it's gonna use the power of the road rather than those poles that are going in and out of there, Randy.
Oh, okay.
Just through Mike's notes to the chair, Rob.
Yeah, go.
Just I guess there's concern about the open space, how it's in the project. And it seems like it's up to our discretion to kind of determine what we feel is necessary for open space between these lots is concerned. I think just looking at there's a row of houses without any open space between them, then there's around them instead of a ribbon between them. I think that's kind of his intention. I would think we'd have to take a look at what our rules on that to see, just to make sure we're right with that.
What about, you get into like the buffering part of it, John, that we're getting at houses and the solar panel?
No, it was on Mike's.
So what we'd probably propose, what we have in the past, I don't know who just spoke, but if I could answer that, we opposed. See, what this is saying is the exterior site property lines. What he's saying is, I believe, along the back edge of the property, and I chanced with Mike about it, but they want to strip. He wants a strip back. What I would maybe recommend, rather than a strip back there, is just a constant restriction, so they can't cut trees back way at the end of their lots. You know what I mean? We'd make a strip just like a conservation restriction rather than put an open space. Because what's an open space strip going to do back there that's 2 feet wide or 3? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And unless I'm reading it wrong, that's what he's talking about.
So he's talking about along road A, road B. Is that correct? I think that's what his comments were, around road A and D, 2 seconds.
It says, lack of full compliance with an open space strip being the lot exterior site property lines. So I'm assuming it's the exterior of the site and the property line he wants a strip between. So what I was saying, just give a conservation restriction there.
Just a question.
So if you look at comment number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking at 5. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, comment number 4. So he's looking at these, you basically have 23 lots all through here, through road A across the farm, and then through road D that has no conservation land at all, or you've got a little bit of open space back here, I guess, but nothing between the lots. So I think the discussion was the grouping of those 20 lots together without any open space between them.
Okay.
So, so this is just the preliminary plans, things we need to look at before we get into or need to see in the definitive plans, and then we can go from there, right?
We'd love your input. That's why we bring the preliminary. We'd love your input.
So, I mean, that's one of the concerns that Graves had. And then, yeah, 5.2 was the space behind lot Road B.
To the chair,
Go ahead, Josh.
do we have other flex developments in town that have, obviously, that had been adhered into this open space, so we can just kind of take a look at this? They did when we're considering this.
I mean, Jennings Drive.
Yes, we do.
Flexible. I think that Hammond Woods is a flexible subdivision.
Jennings
Williams
Road,
Pond, across the street.
Yeah. Yes. Well, there's multiple flexibles. I know that some of the ones that Jim did recently in the past, in the early mid 2000s. I think it's a Charlton Preservation Trust that takes over that open space.
Yep.
Typically, yes. Mr. Chairman, if I just make a recommendation.
Yeah.
When you come in for the definitive, you might want to show that connection under the tracks just so people know where it is. You know, the tunnel that you were referring to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mark it on the plan just so people can see where it is.
You got it. You can do that. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, I mean, how do we take it from here, Randy? Do you want to continue and go to the next one and let the board? But we hit all the high notes. I don't know what you guys want to do, but
they've addressed the concerns of the preliminary plan. There is discussion on the open space that they could come and address that at the definitive plan to make sure that it meets open space requirements. And we'll have to look at that as well and see how that is done as far as the number of lots that are all together without any open space. But as far as the definitive plan, they have basically met the requirements of the plans. Most of the information will be part of the definitive plan process. So and we have the information that we need for the board to, if they chose to do so, with the exception of the open space that isn't ironed out. As far as
we'll iron that out with Mike though as we go. We'll make sure that he says it meets the bylaw.
So there was also some concern about the entryway, is the grade coming into up of Spencer Road.
They had an issue on the entrance on the
comment number 12.
Road A has been revised. We took that's been all set.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean,
does the board need to vote at all?
Yeah, vote to approve the preliminary subdivision, and you might even want to put a condition that the matter of the open space will be addressed at the time of definitive subdivision. Make sure it's not forgotten.
We're not approving anything today. All we're doing is allowing the submittal, right?
Yeah. I'll come in to.
Okay.
My question is, as far as lot count, well, let me have. I actually. We submitted this. We got it stamped by the town clerk. So if you probably need to either vote it or get an extension. I'm not sure, Randy. Not sure about that. But when the stamp goes on by the town clerk, I think that starts the clock ticking. I don't care about an extension. I'll give it to you. But I just think because we waited for the comments to get answered, I think it pushed it past the time limit. I could be wrong.
Well, I think it says at time that the planning board accepts the application, which is why that got put off till tonight. I know it was submitted to the town clerk, but that's the planning board accepting the application.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that it goes by stamp, but that's okay. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not looking for anything. Want it out, that's all.
in all fairness, if you want to give us a continuance just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we don't have any issue.
Yes, I'm fine. I'll give you an extended sign if you want to zip it over. I just think that I'm pretty sure the town dictates. That's all. And I just wanted to point it out. I'm not looking for anything. I just wanted to know that.
Lee, I'm curious about your time on this. So once you get approval and get ready to go on this, how long is this going to the development going to take you? Do you think? What's your?
Well, if the market's like it is now, it'll take me about months. But,
before you sell everything.
Yeah, but usually, you know, to do it in phases. Obviously,
Sure.
you know, we do it in phases, and that probably be laid out in the definitive. But probably that's probably a 4-year project.
Okay, so one thing that I'm concerned about is what your phases are, and will all the roads be in the first phase, or is it going to be pushed through? We've run into other developments before that have started and then just ended and do not meet code for the town. So,
well, so what we do is first phase I would say probably include coming up Spencer Road up to where Curtis Hill Road emergency access would be, and then go down Road B, let's say 1,000, so that it would all be within safety regulations. You know what I mean? They'd be way out a little at the end, Hammerhead. So that would probably be phase 1, then 2 like this, and then, you know, it would come up this way, and then phase 3 would connect this way, and then, you know what I mean? We do it so that it would be safe.
So you wouldn't have any requirement for a temporary cul-de-sac. Your tent would go all the way into a certain cul-de-sac for a turnaround for the fire department, or add an intersection with a hammerhead.
They would have to be there in phases if he doesn't continue, or if he goes beyond the 500 feet.
Yeah.
Is it 500 feet, Randy? That's the limit.
Yeah. So if you're going to do it in a phase, you'll have to provide some sort of turnaround for emergency vehicles.
John.
Project.
Okay. I'm gonna make you.
All right, Randy, real quick for procedure, do we need to accept the request?
Yeah. I actually opened up the subdivision regulations. The board does have to take action or approve the preliminary subdivision. That's done it's giving the applicant guidance to know that they are pretty much in agreement with the basis of this type of project. By no means means the project is approved, but section 3.2.1 and 3.2.2, it says the board shall approve the preliminary subdivision.
That doesn't start the clock ticking until we get the definitive.
Right. No, this is just only preliminary.
There is no time frame on a preliminary. Yeah.
That's correct.
Preliminary comes in when zoning change. You have 7 months after you submit a preliminary to submit a definitive. That's the only thing that exists.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we need a motion. A motion.
We need a motion.
Okay. I thought I made a motion. I thought I
You made a motion to accept.
maybe. I'll make another motion. I'll make a motion. We accept
Yes, right. That's
preliminary subdivision.
Don, correct. I'm sorry. That's the first thing. Agenda item. I'm sorry.
Yes. So we did accept it, and we made comments. I think we need to look at some of the grave comments, and when we get the preliminary, we can see how to adjust or the definitive.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right.
I'm sorry. May I speak, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, right ahead.
Just for a little bit of direction, where do we go from here? Do we move on to definitive or do we wait for you guys to vote on the preliminary, whether it's up or down?
they're voting to approve the preliminary subdivision, which basically means the planning board is voting to consider this as a flexible subdivision. And then your next step is the definitive.
Okay, so that means that by accepting the fact that we're going flexible, you accepted the lot counts and all of that. So what we move on to definitive.
Correct.
Okay, great. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Clay.
Thank you very much. And see you in a few months on the definitive.
Yes, thank you.
Bye now.
Russ, we didn't
Bye-bye.
vote
Thank
on
you.
that.
Oh, wait, we voted to accept it, Gene. That's all we needed to do.
Okay.
No,
Yep.
just on the definitive, your plan will have to show the phasing on how you're going to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. We plan on doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys. Good to see you
thank
again.
you. All right, moving on to our continued public hearing. LLC, the site plan application and special permit for proposed warehouse distribution, 41 Sturbridge Road.
Mr. Chairman, they have actually asked because we did not see the traffic report till yesterday, and they didn't see the grades report till the end of last week. So they have requested to continue this to the June 16th meeting. Like a letter from their attorney yesterday to be continued to June 16th, because they would rather be prepared to address any of the items that are brought up in the traffic report and the grades review.
All right, so continue to June, that continues to June 15th?
Yes.
All right, how is that working? A time frame for that as far as the clock goes for the other items that need to be addressed for the site plan review?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
How with having two just on this one item, how are we going to be on our time frame? Because there's a time limit since it's a special permit.
Yeah, I will
just look into that if you get a chance.
They will give us a extension of the time of approval, because they're requesting the continuing.
All right. Our motion to continue this public hearing to June 15th for the Town Development LLC at 241 Sturbridge Road.
Right.
I'll make that motion to continue this until June 15th, the Charlton Developer LLC.
All right.
I'll second that, Gene Vincent.
All those in favor, Gene Vincent,
Aye.
Don Clay,
Aye.
John Smith,
Aye.
Bill Fontaine,
Aye.
Ross Missy, aye.
I've also requested their our traffic consultant and Graves Engineering be at that meeting, which they both agreed that they can attend that meeting.
Okay, great. All right, do we have any other business?
Yeah, Randy, what do we have on the agenda for the second?
Not a whole lot at the moment.
Okay.
We're finishing everything, so.
Okay. I sent you a message. I will not be here on the second, so the whole board is aware.
Yep.
All right.
As of
I'm on vacation.
As of right now, we don't have anything for that meeting. I mean, we might end up with an A&R or something, but we haven't. Actually, I take that back. We have one thing because it was submitted to us after the time of the agenda, and I had told the applicant how the board's opinion, if it's not on the agenda, whether they should hear it. It was a field modification by Treehouse Brewery, which I just forward that information you today because I received some of it today, or a field change for the Treehouse Brewery. I sent it out this afternoon. Did anybody receive through the SharePoint?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it in the SharePoint, yeah.
Yeah, but and I told the applicant, due to the fact that it wasn't on the agenda, the board may not want to consider this until the June 2nd meeting, because the board isn't fond of not discussing things that aren't on the agenda. But I said it was completely up to you. And I will say, talking to Alicia this afternoon, her opinion was that they should wait because it's not on the agenda to the June.
So
7th.
I mean, do you want to bring it up now? And we don't have to take any position, but we can go over it now just so that we got something to think about for the week, if that's okay. What are they trying to do?
Well, relatively speaking, it's not anything major. There, as you know, they're starting to do or planning to do distilling operations there. So they're going to be making more than beer now. And they have a tank that they call a chiller and a roastery, which I'm not sure what the roastery are, but they were, as you can see in this plan, they put in where there was a prior dumpster area and parking spaces. So they had to amend their plan to show where the parking spaces were going to be in the addition of these two structures, the tank and the roastery, that will be on the exterior of the corner of where the new warehouse has been built. So, and relatively speaking, it's a minor change, but it's still a field change.
Now, question, Randy, does this special permit allow them to do distilling or just brewing a beer?
It actually doesn't specify one way or the other, because that question actually came up prior, because it wasn't
approved by the select board, right? For a farm distillery.
Yeah. Yeah, what type of alcohol they make, we don't really have a say in that. They're, that's up to the town, because they have to get permitting through the select board for that.
Okay.
I mean, the intent was always beer, and now they're expanding, but we don't really have a say in that.
All right. Graves commented on this at all, Randy?
Yes. He had commented they had to show additional parking spaces and including an accessory parking space. And they had, on the original plan, they didn't show the relocation of the dumpster pad, which is looking in the lower left-hand corner. They revised the plan to show that dumpster pad, because those were in the area where the tank and the roastery were going to be, or will be. So relatively speaking, it is a minor field change, but I said it would be up to the purview of the board if they felt they wanted to have it actually listed on the agenda before they approved the field change.
All right.
I didn't want to speak
through the board. Just
go right ahead, Bill.
It is a change. It looks like there's 2 points that are acknowledged and addressed. Quick survey of the drawing. They have the 7 parking spaces and showing the the dumpster pad and that it is minor. I'm not, I'd be all in favor of moving this forward, but that's one person on the board's opinion.
Yeah, I think because it wasn't on the tonight, we've looked at it, we reviewed it. I think it'll be pretty simple at the next meeting, but I'm sure due to open meeting laws, we can take action on it.
Yeah, that's true, right? You have them listed on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't want to list it because we hadn't received the answers for Graves engineering review, within 48 hours prior to the meeting, which is when the agenda has to be posted. So we couldn't list it on the agenda because I didn't know when we were getting it, to be honest with you.
So would this be covered on other business unknown at time of posting? Would we be covered there, or is this something that I guess I'll leave it to the.
If the criteria,
Under the business, unknown at time of posting, because it is a field change, so it isn't like a new application. It's a field change on an existing approved.
There is no public hearing on it.
it fits the criteria for other bids not known at time of posting.
Right.
Okay.
In my opinion. In my opinion.
Okay. It's the chair's opinion that counts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a field change.
Yeah.
It's an existing
Yeah,
site that we've already approved.
I get it.
Yeah. Listen, I appreciate your cautionary
Yeah,
way.
no, I get it.
Um,
I get it. No, it'd be good to move forward and move this out.
yeah. So does anyone else have any comments on the change or as far as taking action on this?
I don't have a problem with taking action.
Okay. John, anything?
Nothing.
Okay.
So I'll make to accept the Treehouse Brewing Warehouse Building Addition field change for and other things from the plans dated 5/13/2021.
Second that.
We have a second. All right. All those in favor, Gene Vincent, Don Clay,
Aye.
John Smith,
Right?
Bill
Aye.
Ross, and Nancy, aye. All right. Now, Randy?
No. And actually, in light of the fact that we're caught up on everything, should I consider requesting a CMRPC has time for our June meeting that we might work more on the use chart? Right now, we don't have anything for the meeting unless somebody submitted an A&R or something. So would you like to make that somewhat of a workshop, or you could have the night off, whichever you choose?
Just making a meeting. I mean, an A&R is minor enough for his time-wise.
Right.
And then I guess, Dawn, since you've been...
Yeah, I've got no problem submitting comments prior to the meeting,
Yeah,
and you can
do.
comments. I've already gone through the use table a little bit and made some markups, so I can send that off to Randy.
It would be a good idea, because I think this Charlton developer application, especially when we have limited meetings in the summertime, more we get done with the CMRPC and the bylaw work now, even if we spent an hour or so on it and get through more of the use chart, we'd be making progress.
So, two big projects coming in for the summer. We're going to have a busy summer.
Yes.
So it's, usually we bump down to one meeting in July and one meeting in August. Like we might need to look at, but
I wouldn't be surprised if we get requested to have more meeting, like a special meeting or something.
yeah.
Nobody's asked yet, but I would not be surprised if it happens.
Gonna be a lot to review, so.
Yeah. Randy, if you don't have anything else, just want to ask the board about doing in person once for the June and what their thoughts are on it. Preliminary stuff right now as far as getting back to normal.
I don't have a problem, Russ.
Okay.
The board wants to.
Yeah, plus I think that Randy's still waiting to hear some more definitive stuff from the administrator as far as rules and procedure once it gets that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we can look at it. We still have the option of members being remote if needed. I think we've always mentioned that we could do that, right?
Yes, I mean, it can be hybrid, so if somebody's not comfortable doing it in person, we can still do it that way. Somebody can be remote, even applicants or indoor insurance.
Masking more.
I'm sorry?
I said we could do it in person, but just required that mask be worn. I mean, if somebody's not really comfortable with it, I don't have a problem with that.
Would we be in the select board's room or our Randy?
Actually, at the beginning, I would recommend the select board room because they also have a large screen and they have it set up that the meeting can be streamed at the same time so that anybody in the public that didn't want to attend in person but wanted to watch the meeting still could, you know, from home via Zoom. So, and then there's rooms, so if we're still comfortable, like there's some people there and you still want to keep some social distancing in place, they've actually taken out the old wooden benches in the meeting room and put in individual chairs so that people can be separated.
I don't have a problem with that, Randy. I'm sorry.
No, no problem. Don't worry. I just want to get everyone. I just want to get everyone for it because I know it can. People. I mean,
we won't be touching each other.
No, yeah.
We got to get back to normal sometime.
Yeah. I just want to get on how comfortable they are doing it. So.
Yeah.
And I know, like, my own thing, I know, like, yeah, I have a tough time sometimes getting the vibe of applicants sometimes, how people really feel. So I think it would be good to get back in person. That's just my feeling. And so.
Well, particularly these large applications, there might be public input, you know, and it's easier to deal with it in person and, you know.
I would think we're going to need the select board's room with our job.
Right,
just because of the entourage they're going to bring with them when they start.
I mean, I would automatically plan for that because I think we'll need the space, you know.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All right, Randy, do you have anything else? Any other comments on the in-person meeting or anything other stuff that came up?
Nope,
just
that's
through
it.
the chair, 1 sec. Oh, sorry.
We don't know the exact date yet, but I heard today that the town, you know, the administrator or the selectmen are going to decide when they're going to allow, which from what I understand is sometime in June.
So I think one of the problems is the state of emergency is ending in middle of June, which allowed these meetings to be remote. So see what happens there.
Right.
All right.
Ross, I just had one question. The second meeting in June, I thought I heard you say June 5th.
Sorry, 16th, right?
It should be the 16th.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
Our meetings is
And I didn't. We made to continue that one meeting for Trevor LC, but it should be June 16th and not the 5th.
Yeah. All right, so just to cover our end, or my end, because it was my mistake, and I should just do that one again.
The technicality, I didn't want to get hung.
Yeah, I think I made that motion. Thanks, Gene. I'd like to amend the motion to June 16th to push the applicants on the agenda until June 16th. An amended motion.
Need a second.
The amended motion.
All right, all those in favor, Gene Vincent.
Aye.
Don Clay.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Bill Fontaine.
Aye.
Ross and Missy, aye. Very much, Gene, for picking up on that.
Well, I was writing on my calendar and it didn't work.
Through the chair, I just have a question, Ross.
John.
For Randy. Randy, what is going on with the gas plant?
What?
With the gas plant 169?
The latest is they tried to make some amended plans and push them through quickly, and part of it was they had made a lot of statements that Millennium was on board with it, and then Millennium decided not to be on board with it anymore because they changed their ownership and everything like that, and they basically thrown Millennium under the bus. So Millennium returned the favor because they wanted to cut it short and pushed the siding board to approve it now. And then a result of what I did, the siding board turned around and said, not only are we not going to do it early, we're going to give them more time. So they've been put in there. Actually, they're at the Conservation Commission right now trying to get the plan approved. And with the Conservation Commission, you know, they have to go to Conservation anyways, but they're jumping the gun that they're under the assumption they've already been approved. And we have no more indication right now that they've been approved than we did 6 months ago. Now there's been some issues with wetlands and items along Route 169. And some of the property owners have started making waves about it because they're crossing their property. So I don't think they're any closer today than they were 6 months ago, because they rerouted the gas line route to go down Route 169 because Millennium won't allow them to go across their property.
Yeah, so the trees flag, John, when you're going down 169.
I was wondering what that was about. Yeah.
That's their gas line.
They just got to cut them just now, just in case they got they're moving, right? We'll just cut the trees down now.
Well, they've had those flags for a while, almost a year.
Yeah, they've been up there because they had to get approval from Mass DOT, and they had to flag, you know, for where the wetlands were and everything. So I'm wondering, because of all the green initiatives right now, especially from the state level, if the state's going to start taking a different opinion on why do we need more natural gas. I have no idea what they're thinking at the moment, but you know, before it was all about natural gas from 2014, and here we are, you know, years later, they still don't have it, but now they're trying to push all these green initiatives that don't include, you know, natural gas. So it'll be interesting.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion and we adjourn.
All those in favor, Gene Vincent.
Aye.
John Clay.
Aye.
John Smith.
Again, I'd like to thank Mr. Clay for his outstanding presentation. Thank you, Don. Aye.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. Things will run a little.
John,
I may need to get a new PC from the book something.
Ross Lemon, the aye. All right, we are adjourned. Don, have a good.
Great vacation, Don. Good to see you, Bill. See you, Gene. Randy.
All right.
Okay, take care. Bye.